Orang yang lebih 60 hingga 70 tahun, they don't have much avenue to make new friends. So in senior living ada 3 facet lah. Facet pertama independent living, active living.
And Raaj Selvarajan ialah pengasas Sukha Golden Sanctuary, adalah sebuah pusat hari yang berasaskan clubhouse di Malaysia. Direka khas untuk warga emas. Di sini, mereka dapat terlibat dalam pelbagai aktiviti dan bersosial sambil menerima penjagaan dan perkhidmatan peribadi. Beliau juga terlibat dalam panel perbincangan mengenai penjagaan warga emas di Malaysia, khususnya dalam inisiatif yang bertujuan untuk memperbaiki kualiti hidup warga tua melalui penyediaan komuniti tempat tinggal yang sesuai untuk mereka.
Angel feel ni
itu memang topik best tu.
Bersama saya Dr. Roland
satu benda yang and one of the worst stress can happen bila you makan tak sedap.
Doktor, saya punya culture kena makan nasi.
Zaman moden
That every second of your life you either earn or learn.
Batu Medic Show. Okey, episod kali ini dibawakan khas oleh Healthy Nation. Healthy Nation bukan nutrisi suplemen makanan untuk tambahkan kalori sekiranya anda mempunyai masalah selepas pembedahan, orang-orang yang tua yang mungkin kurang kalori defisit. Ini adalah satu alternatif. Terdapat berbagai jenis. Yang saya nak share ni ialah DM Well. DM Well ni dia lactose free, low glycemic index, high calcium dan fiber. Dia ada 28 mineral dan juga multivitamin. Dia ada 4 strain probiotik dan juga vitamin B1, B6, B12 dan chromium. Sangat sesuai orang yang ada masalah kencing manis yang tengah fikirkan apa makanan suplemen yang boleh gunakan untuk tambahkan dia kalori. Okay, so it's available di kebanyakan farmasi di Malaysia. So go check it out. Healthy Nation, DM Well. Selamat datang ke lagi satu episod Lesung Batu Medic Show bersama saya Dr. Roland. Dan hari ni kita nak bincang pasal topik apa pula? So today's topic kita nak bincangkan tentang masalah sekiranya ramai orang Malaysia ni menjadi semakin tua. Menurut statistik pada tahun 2030 dan juga statistik Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, Malaysia akan masuk pada aging nation. Maksudnya lebih kurang 15% pada populasi Malaysia ni akan jadi tua. Bukan nyanyuk tapi tua saja. So apa kita nak buat? Adakah kita ada satu rangka strategi untuk menjaga komuniti-komuniti kita yang telah mula berusia? Sekiranya mereka berusia lanjut dan mereka tinggal di bandar dan tak ada tempat untuk tinggal dan sebagainya, apa solusi yang kita kena fikirkan? So bersama saya hari ini daripada Sukha Golden, Tuan Raaj Selvarajan. Thank you for coming to Lesung Batu Medic Show. So Raaj, boleh cerita sikit tentang Sukha Golden?
Okay, so Sukha was built based on providing a lifestyle solution for seniors in Malaysia. Sebab what we have seen today is families are a bit more comfortable putting their loved one into a proper facility.
Okay.
Right? And the stigma for the longest time in Malaysia is pusat jagaan, rumah orang tua, nursing home. It carries a bit of a stigma where when you even start the topic to a senior, first thing you get is rejection.
Saya tak nak tinggal dalam.
Saya tak nak tinggal. You jangan you tak sayang saya lagi. You nak masukkan saya ke satu facility ke macam tu kan. So that's why new premium facilities has been coming out for the past few years, and it's just been like the past 2-3 years you've seen premium facility. But the problem is all these premium facilities are coming with a very expensive price tag. So in terms of affordability, yeah, we've got the T20, we got the M40, we got the B40. Yes, our facilities might not be able to cater for the B40 currently, but we are looking to cater to the M40 and the T20 as well. So our price point is even more than half of what the premium other competitors, or in other terms, I address them as my fellow comrades in this industry, but without discounting the premium look and feel and also the services.
Okay, faham.
Yeah.
Back to again in Malay again. Jika kita lihat isu di mana aged care living ataupun pusat penjagaan orang tua lah. I sarkastik sikit, minta maaf. Tapi itulah realitinya. Kita lihat ramai orang yang tinggal di bandar ni sangat sibuk dengan tugasan dan kerja mereka. And then orang-orang tua yang mungkin menjadi penjawat awam, mungkin jadi pesara daripada syarikat swasta and everything, they don't have a place to go. At this moment, kebanyakan mereka tinggal dengan anak-anak mereka. I call generasi kami ni sebagai sandwich generation.
Betul.
Ada tanggungan kena jaga orang-orang tua, ayah atau ibu, dan juga kena jaga anak-anak. So they are sliced between this. So this thing bukan hanya akan berlaku sekarang. This is just the start. And this is going to happen more rampant. The stat ni akan terus naik. Menjelang 2030 seperti saya katakan, 15% populasi ialah golongan lebih pada 60 tahun kan, kata saya.
Betul.
Okay. What's the number is going to go? How high is it going to go?
Okay.
Berapa jauh lagi nak naik?
Looking at the data untuk tahun ni juga. Tahun ni kita ada lebih kurang 3.8 million.
Okay.
3.8 juta seniors above 65 years old.
Okay. So lebih pada 65 tahun dikategorikan sebagai senior.
Sebagai senior.
Okay. Lagi?
But technically for a senior living facility, our rule of thumb is orang yang berumur lebih dari 55 tahun lah. This is based...
Maksudnya saya pun semakin dekat dah.
So this is based on statistic globally. Tapi the fakta is we cannot get somebody who is 55 years old to move into a facility, you know, because dia orang independent, they can drive their own car.
Betul.
Makan minum semua dah boleh settle. Pergi mall atau bank ke apa kan. Tapi the target market is 65 years and above.
Okay.
Because these are the group of seniors that start to require some form of assistance. And what you said is absolutely correct. Kita sekarang dalam sandwich kategori age 35 to about 50 is we call it the sandwich category. Anak ada, ayah ibu pun ada, dua-dua set kena jaga kan. Dan that group right now, they are quite busy with their work and so on.
Career building dan sebagainya.
Or even they want to have a travel by themselves. So when they travel within their satellite family, the parents are actually left alone in the house. And most of them went to study abroad, never to return back. So the parents are left alone at home. They can be active, but one trip and one fall, it can
changes
be
the whole game.
It changes the whole game. And then when that happens, is there a team to address them at the first point of response? No. But when we start talking to the community, the younger seniors, we call it the 55 years and above 60, they said, why do I need to move into a facility? I can hire a maid, I can hire a caregiver. But then they're losing the point of community. Orang yang lebih 60 tahun atau 60 hingga 70 tahun, they don't have much avenue to make new friends. They don't really have the networking.
Tak ada geng lah.
Most of them dah retire and their list of friends are also going down day by day.
Semakin hari members semakin kurang.
Kurang kan?
Masuk kepada alam baru.
Yeah, so that's why we're selling the component of. So in senior living ada 3 facet lah. Facet pertama independent living.
Okay, maksudnya
Active living, or in other term globally in Western culture kita panggil retirement village, retirement homes,
okay lah.
right?
Dia macam boleh katakan macam club tak ataupun
Dia macam club, dia macam community lah.
Okay.
So you tengok macam kalau you buat example dekat Australia, and this is an initiative by the council or the government itself, where under the NDIS, so they've got this scheme, they convert residential units into a senior living community. So these are all active seniors, tapi yang basic macam housekeeping, laundry, food is provided if it's required. Here in Malaysia is still very much on assisted living. So that is the second facet. So when they start deteriorating, macam wheelchair borne, early stage dementia and so on and so forth, it falls under category of assisted living. And this is where Malaysia is actually very much targeted to. The children cannot take care of the parents because they are busy with their life. And number 2 is they don't know how to take care. So that's why parents or grandparents are being checked into a facility. Then they deteriorate lagi, it becomes nursing care, hospice, palliative, then end of life lah, basically. So Malaysia, assisted living, nursing. Independent living slowly is getting the interest from the younger seniors. Sebab these are the seniors that would have travelled overseas and they've seen, wow, this is a beautiful life. Everything is provided for me. The safety component, the security component is there. I don't have much noise from the younger generation. I've got a peaceful, but at the same time, I can sit in my car, I drive, I go visit to a Ramos Mall or nearby eateries and so on and so forth. So Malaysians are slowly changing it. But the thing is, in urban areas of senior living facility, which is I'm talking about not the massive residential units lah, yang buildings stand alone, they are all built on a high story level, 16 floors, 15 floors, even up to 20 floors. We Malaysians, especially the seniors, for the longest time we are accustomed on staying in a landed property. Tinggal dalam tingkat yang 15, 20. For a weekend, for a week might be good, but eventually they feel claustrophobic. So in terms of issues, building a facility in urban areas is also a cost because the land price is expensive. Then people also talk, retirement village should be like, has an element of serenity. Janda baik lah, semenye lah, by the sea lah. Beautiful. And it's good for a staycation. Weekend, 1 week. After that, they get bored. So, for us, we focus on urban areas, specifically. Klang Valley, Penang, Johor, even Malacca. Ipoh is also coming up to a certain extent. Because we give importance of the surrounding ecosystem. Even for the assisted living, we have packages or we have day visits, tour visits to the mall. We put all our residents into a vehicle. We take them and go. We even go farm in the city. Those kind of activities. We want to. There's a term that's coming out which is called multi-generational for senior living. Singapore is ahead of us. The biggest developers in Singapore are the government because they own the HDB flats, right? And some of the HDB flats were moved out from the existing people who bought those units because they were aged and they've got a period of year where they break it down and rebuild. COVID hit and they did not do that, so they're converting all these HDB flats into senior living facilities. And you have multiple age group living in the same community.
Okay.
Right? A lot of seniors feel that they unloved because they have been chucked into a home where the moment you walk in, you see all bedridden seniors. But these are the seniors who are still happy, they're sane in mind, they want to live a normal community lifestyle. So that's what we're building. So our upcoming facility is more targeted for independent living and semi-assisted living.
So when you say again, it's going all English, so I gotta go all English too. So when you say senior living like this, right? Do you all compartmentalize each center, or how is the center going to be like? Because like you said, there's going to be one person who's 65 years old and has kids, maybe a specialist in London, and then another daughter is in Australia, and he's all alone here. The wife passed away, and he says, look, I just don't want to be all by myself, and I'm going to the center, but I have my car, I have my old residence maybe in PJ, but I just want to have people to talk with, some ping pong to play with, some form of chit chat, discussion, community, like you said.
Absolutely.
Okay, but when he goes in there, do he sees like end life care or everything, or this is something that because we don't want to get them depressed. Like
Absolutely.
this is coming next.
Correct. So that's an excellent point, right? So that's how we do it. Our facilities we call it, we demarcate that location, the blocks.
Okay.
So our upcoming facility has got 4 blocks. One block will be specific for independent living. 2 blocks will be specific for assisted living. And 1 block will be specific for dementia. Why we separated dementia out of assisted? Although in umbrella term, it falls under the assisted living care. But theoretically, to build a dementia-specific facility, there is some specific requirements. The simplest is you require to design it as a circuit, because dementia patients do not remember numbers, they remember images. So the circuit, so they don't get lost. 2 is even in the room doors, there are specific room doors, you don't have numbers, you have images of your family members or some artwork that you do with paste it so you know exactly which is their room. So that's why we demarcate that locations by the analysis of the type of residence that we have. You're absolutely right. And this is where the issue is. That's why the resistance comes in. When you talk to a senior, first thing cross their mind is, and that's how they know what Malaysia is. Oh, pusat jaga orang tua. Tak nak lah. okay apa? Kenapa saya nak masuk kan? But we are changing that, the whole concept that we are, and we also work with Gerontological Association of Malaysia and some other bodies around, even National Cancer Society, to create the awareness that senior living is not pusat jaga orang tua.
And it's not a hospice also.
It's not hospice, it's not palliative.
Okay.
It's not just for medical care, most importantly is for your community or your social welfare. So that's where we are building it separately. But as we progress, we've got a lot of plans in the next 8 to 10 years.
That means the other setups are also in consideration in the future.
Yes, so we will have a full-fledged nursing care, where that is purely high level of care, hospice, palliative, seniors.
Okay.
As we expand, so we demarcate that location.
Okay, so they might not be in the same location.
They might
also.
not be in the same
Fantastic. So at least it gets the people who, I define this as a crowd sharing a point also, because they want people. You see, when you have adults working, elder parents expect to see their offspring all the time, because that's the only thing that keeps them like sustainable. They provide food, they provide shelter, they provide the basic amenities. If they go out for makan, the shop, you tag along, kind of thing. But when the next 8 hours or 10 hours when they go to work or they are away outstation, then they are going to be a lonely soul.
Correct.
And that's the thing that they will feel like, oh, I'm bored lah. I feel like I'm purposeless.
And that's how we actually started almost 2 years back, to address that period of time where they are left alone in their residential units, right? They could be active, or even slight assistance, maybe wheelchair bound and so on, but they become dormant. The best things that they have is either watching TV or reading a book or newspaper. But how long can you do that? So they end up sleeping a lot during that period of time, and because of that, they do not get their physical or cognitive activities being rendered to them, and the deterioration become faster.
Yeah.
So that's why we came in the market, start purely as a daycare center, retirement clubhouse. So we're one of the first to do it, Sukha, in PJ, where they come in the morning. We have a lot of activities. We got a lot, not only specifically for wellness, we also have fun suddenly. And the way we designed it, it doesn't look any clinical. It looks like a clubhouse. Meals are provided, basic cares, even showering assistance if it's required, and then they go back in the evening.
Okay. So someone picks them back, or they drive out?
Surprisingly, when we started, we thought that the children will drop them and pick them up. But looking at our traffic conditions, and the next of kin might be working in a different direction, opposite direction. Our residents currently, about 90%, come by themselves by Grab. So the next of kin books the Grab and sends us the link, and we track real time when it arrives. Likewise, when they're going back, they send the link, and then we put them in the car, they go back.
Okay.
So with the technology, it's quite easy to a certain extent, but we also have some of them still drop their parents. And
talking about technologies, you pulled me to a point of how do you see this segment of industry, or I still define it sort of like a caregiving system, whether it's hospital based, non-clinical or clinical based, it's still a caregiving system. Will move towards the tech, AI, and all of these algorithms and everything coming in. See, you mentioned about them moving from point A to point B. Now, can that help the facility? One, you all are looking at it, and also drive the cost down.
Yes. So senior care is actually a grey line between hospitality and healthcare, right? So it's not too much there, it's not too much here. It's more of creating a new home for them. So they are moving away from the existing home into a facility, so that becomes their house, right? Yes, there are a lot of tech services or equipments or even applications that we are embedding, but the fact of the matter is still a human-based business, right? We probably can have a robot serving the food in their F&B in our F&B outlet, but we cannot have a robot changing their diapers. It might not work at that. And seniors being seniors, they need the compassion. They need to see somebody, and they like to chat. They like to see a friendly face, right? We have tech services, like we even have a non-invasive device which is located in common areas to detect fall and it also detects sleep patterns. So these are some of the things that we're going to put. In fact, for the security part of it, there is a property management software that we are developing in-house ourselves, because it's quite, it has to be quite high level of safety and security, especially for our residents who are dementia patients, right? We have an approved visitor list. If anyone wants to come and see them, they need to get approval from the approved visitor list and so on and so forth. Because we have seen, not for us, luckily, but in the industry where second level of family members walks in, meets one of the resident who has dementia and try to rewrite the will.
Oh, wow.
All these things happens, right? Because people have got a lot of money, right? And they don't know what's happening. They will willing and you bring it to the court of law. It's just okay. There's the will and it's signed. It's it's deemed legal, right? So these are the things that we're putting in play in terms of technology. AI on the other side is where we're incorporating on our back end, where we can able to give a suggestion based on their vital signs on a daily basis. If their pressure is a bit too high, and then it kind of relates back to our F&B department that okay, today's food will be less sugar, less salt or something like that. So these are the things that we are looking into.
Nice. It's very interesting that you have that thought at the back end. Really.
And it helps us to bring our costs down. Of course, in terms of if there's a resident, we have room services as well because we have premium facility. So we might have the robots delivering the food instead of a human. So some of the components we are still looking to reduce that manpower cost.
So when you say like a premium facility, what does the center in PJ have, and how big is it? Share with the audience. Okay. What's in a club? You mentioned what's in a club like Sukha Golden has.
Okay, so our upcoming facility, we are converting resort hotel in PJ. So it's a standalone property. It's got 100 rooms. It's got, in terms of common areas, we've got a swimming pool. We've got 2 E3 F&B component. One is an alfresco cafe overlooking a swimming pool, a little bit more casual, suitable for breakfast and so on and so forth. Then the other one, we have a more enclosed dining, dinner, or even celebrating special occasions like birthday, anniversaries. The unique thing about this F&B is we are not only providing that meals to our senior residents, we are also empowering younger seniors to operate it. So we're hiring senior. Okay. So we want to give
senior for senior.
Senior for senior. We want to give the opportunity for seniors to work. I mean, we've got a lot of experienced seniors, hotel background, F&B background, which they still want to go out there and work and provide the services, but not many opportunities out there. So we want to give that opportunity to them. And then the clubhouse is we have ping pong, we have mahjong, we have even fun games like Monopoly. Then we have active activities like yoga, qigong. We've got a library, we've got a TV room. So that's how and we also have a lot of development courses or lessons for our residents, like how to use online banking, what is cryptocurrency, make them equipped with what the moving era is right now. So some of them, most of the seniors don't even know, like even my dad, he doesn't know how to use the online banking and he refused to learn. Because for them, it's like, okay, my card, physical card, I walk to the branch, I see someone. Because it's senior, is still about human interaction. Right? It's still human interaction. So we want to equip them with the current technology and what's new in the market coming up. So that's pretty much our facility. So our facility is, it's got 4 blocks, as I mentioned earlier. The center has got a courtyard, which is like palm trees, and also it's actually nice. Resort by the city. So for those who are familiar with PJ, we are converting Shah's Village Hotel, which is just opposite MCOP Mall. So it's
that's quite very central.
Very, very central connectivity, and it's only 3 floors. So it's got 100 rooms. Our rooms are minimum size 350 square feet, so we are able to accommodate a couple to stay together as well.
I see.
All room comes with ensuite toilet and shower. Most of our room even comes with private balconies. So we are building a community lifestyle for the seniors to enjoy their later years.
Okay. So what's in for them when they come into the centers? You mentioned about the facilities, so they get a room. They get a room to rest, and there's also common areas for them to chill out and have activities. There's some board games, and then they can hang out in the courtyard, have some chit chat under the sun. Yeah. Nursing, providing any services like that? There?
Okay. So because this facility, as I mentioned earlier, is specifically for active and assisted.
Okay.
Because when the moment we get into a nursing services, it falls under a licensing requirement under Ministry of Health.
Okay, under ACC or something.
CCAP.
CCAP.
And falls under CCAP. So we don't know for this particular facility, it's not suited. Again, we don't want to do anything which is we are not permitted to do.
Okay.
So this is more of a accommodation, but we do have basic care like ADL, assistance of daily living. Feeding assistance, showering assistance for the semi-assisted residents. Right?
Okay.
So that's the services that we
So there
provide.
is in-house.
In-house. Everything is in-house.
In-house. Okay. So like if they need any sort of like medical assistance, everything, then they are moved out to get.
Correct. So if they require an emergency care, so one is we have a standby ambulance parked in our facility.
Oh.
And a proper facility should be within 7 minutes from a nearest hospital. For us, that location, we've got Asunta, we've got
Many
University
places,
Hospital, we've got Pantai, we've got Columbia Asia, we've got a few hospitals around. But nevertheless, we also looked at a captive most common services which seniors would require. So within the facility, we are subletting to 4 service providers. Other service. Dialysis center, a pharmacy, a geriatric dental practice, and a geriatric physiotherapy. So these services will be available within our facility itself.
So they got to go and get the license.
Because it's a commercial title,
Yeah.
so they can go get their own license
Understand,
for that. Apart from that, on the well-being, we also have a spa, salon, pedicure, manicure within the
So
facility itself.
technically there's almost a multifaceted facilities in the facility.
That is
itself.
what we envision to build. So we want our residents to enjoy life.
So when you refer to also like food and the cafe and al fresco kind of concept, do these seniors now can add on what they want to eat, or is this like it's a locked meal? Okay, today it's only lunch, breakfast, dinner, and that's it. Don't ask more.
Okay. So our price point, and before that, I want to
go to that. Hold on to that. I want to answer this.
Okay. No, I think it's a connected.
It's
because
gonna be the next question.
It's easier for me to
Sure.
probably answer your next question now itself.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Typically, I'm not just speaking about senior living industry. Any businesses. How do you normally derive your product price or your service price based on your cost of developing? We did it unorthodox. We did it a bit more different. We hired EY to do a market survey. So based on the market survey, we came about in terms of affordability for senior living in Malaysia. It's between 3,000 to 4,000, the bulk of the law, a bigger percentile. So then we decided we wanted to come out with a premium facility as how comparable to all the premium facilities around town at 3,500, and then we went around build the business around it.
Okay.
So that's why
That's
we worked on it because we want to address the underlying issue of affordability. I give you a simple analogy. Based on an average 7,000 a month for a senior living in a facility, untuk 10 tahun, the cost of living before your personal items like diapers or medication, it's coming up to about 1 juta. So for 10 years. And then I think we had a preliminary discussion earlier about where can all this money come from, right? And we also had a chat about how can they access to EPF or KWAP and anything, right? So that's where the cost is. So we are coming in with a cost of 3,500 ringgit. 3 main meals is provided. Your sarapan, your makanan tengah hari, tea time is given, and your makan malam lah, dinner. So these 3 meals. But at the same time,
Dinner also included.
breakfast, lunch, dinner is provided.
Okay.
Housekeeping is
Okay.
provided. Laundry is provided. Basic care is provided. Like if you need assistance to go toilet, help to brush your
There's
teeth.
someone around.
Caregivers. So we have got licensed, regulated caregivers on board to care for them, right? But in between, let's say, because sarapan normally starts about 6:30 to 7:30. Seniors like to wake up early, right? They get hungry about 10 o'clock. Our restaurant, they can come and order a la carte. So it's operated during the business hours. It's there. And
So they have like a buku 555 or anything like that.
So we've got everything on the on their
so
service.
they can
so at the end month
can add on
end, we just bill them out.
Okay, understand.
And
It's
this
a club lah, I guess.
It's like a hotel lah, right? So your hotel morning you get up, breakfast buffet is given.
Correct.
But then after that you can still order a la carte or room service. So the idea you want to go or room service.
Understand,
But
understand.
the thing is we encourage a lot of them. We encourage every of our resident to come out from the room. Because some of the residents want to have some private time, but come out, and you have your friends, your newfound friends. And also the other thing that we're also going to do is, as we expand, we're going to have an exchange program, which is 3 bulan dekat PJ, 3 bulan dekat Penang, 3 bulan dekat Indonesia, 3 bulan dekat JB.
That's the future
Within
pipeline.
our ecosystem, they can experience multiple cultural, meet new friends. Seniors love to travel, but they worry about safety and accessibility.
Exactly.
So we are going to impose that and giving us again and again. I'm just mentioning it's a lifestyle that we are providing to them. Now it's seniors need to start thinking that it is not I've been placed there because it's not that I've been placed there because my children don't love me. It's just they are giving them a better lifestyle, a more curated lifestyle for them, whatever needs that they require.
So when you mention about like the cost of like half the cost of 3,500 at this current point, it's like they stay in for the whole
Month to month. So
Month
per
to
month
month.
is 3,500 and above. Of course, we will do assessment depending on the level of care. There might be a little surcharge if the care gets a
Understood,
bit higher.
understood.
But the bulk of the lot will be 3,500 all in.
Yeah, but it's I still consider it's like 3 meals, people to care, internet facility, lighting, shower, everything in. It's like
Everything.
Yeah, it's
Common
it's actually
areas, you got a swimming pool. And looking at that cost price, that price point, right? Early this year, DOSM has released statistics on cost of living by yourself. I mean, of course, this is not for the B40, it's M40 and above for urban areas. Without the luxury or development items, right? Your basic needs, meal, utilities and all, it's coming up about 2,900 to 3,000 ringgit.
Yeah, they said the gaji minimum is still 1,500. Smart.
And this is before mortgage or before rental. You know? So, and here we are providing everything for 3,500, and it's a place which is senior heaven. That's where we're coming.
And what you are technically going into like the position of now everybody can do senior living. That's going to be that direction. Yes.
Which I think they should.
It is because what let me dump a bit of the statistic department stats. So if you look into one of the stats, they show that by 2030 the population growth is 1%. And that is crisis call because the numbers are not going up. So you have, if it's 2030 at the population of 1% growth, that means it's only going to go on a negative growth after this. You are facing this in Japan, you're seeing this in South Korea. It's the worst among all the lots. Continue watching K-pop. But what's going to happen is now, like what the EPF, KWSP and all have been saying that, look, if this goes on, the coffers will start to shrink. There's a lot of people going to choose to cash out. Cash out at 60, 65 and look like, you know, what am I going to do? Because I've got no kids. Let's say put someone who's in 30s. No kids at all. 30 years down the line, you're 60. Yes, you might have maybe a saving of 1 million, 2 million in. But like you mentioned that if you go in for a premium position, it's like 1M for 10 years. In your place is half the price, 500,000.
And that one
and
M,
that's inflation, not included.
not included the inflation.
Included,
It's current price.
exactly.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
so you have a real problem where now I also see a position where these agencies, governmental agencies like KWSP, Co-op and everything, have to now look at this also as a pipeline of another 10, 20 years issue that is coming. How they're going to go into market with products like y'all and build up together this system where seniors could most likely retain the cash in the funds where they can actually grow the equity there, at the same time enjoy either discounted rates or actually, because based on national budgets, sadly to say that the amount of money or initiative parked on old folks home or charity homes is technically zero. Exactly zero. There's no like direct fund. We have this few billion peruntukan to develop or give grants or even have government assisted services to look at maybe B40 communities, because that is another huge crisis. Because they might not even come out with a $1 million thing. The only way they will end up spending is why Kementerian Kesihatan go into a hospital and sit there for a long time because of poor quality of life, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular. So you end up spending for sick care hundreds of thousands because it's paid for. But even that, the bag would burst. So it is a crisis. It's not something like it's a fun thing. It is serious talk already at this moment. But how these agencies, have you all approached them? You guys have an association or teams, or I'm pretty sure that the market is so huge. You mentioned one of the talks is only 1% at the moment. So there is such a big industry. 99% growth is there. Some people see it, some people don't. They don't see it. But as agencies, government agencies, and have you all like went to talk to them? Look, this is the dynamics. You guys have to look at it.
Okay. So yes, I think there was a article in the mainstream media last week where Malaysia couples are going childless. Yeah, right? So
I saw that.
when that comes, then then you know the end result is there's no one to take care of the seniors when they grow old. Even in fact, with I'm not supposed to say this out in public, but
you can hear.
we can't really depend on our next of kin these days. It's not because that they don't love us. The younger generation, they're a bit more focused on their own personal life, career building and all this. And we don't want us being parents to hinder them from their growth, from taking care of us, right? So that's why we need to prepare ourselves, anyone, even especially when the group of 30 and above, you start preparing. And the issue in Malaysia is, I think we are addressing more towards the damage control right now in terms of the firefighting community heading towards an aging population, where we've not even heard about anything 10 years back. Right? Nobody spoke about senior living, nobody's talking about aging population. Only the last few years it is coming up. So government-wise, there are private related organizations. So there's an organization called AgeCorp, which they are AgeCorp, AGECOP. Okay. So they are actually all the senior living facilities, they fall into that. Then they've got MHAS. There's a few other communities, but these are all private based. But they do a lot of awareness. They do a wonderful job in the society. In fact, they are also speaking day to day to the government on easing out on regulation. So look at senior living homes today. There are quite a number of homes which are not licensed.
Many.
I
want to share this experience with you. Okay, so back before the pandemic, KL Sky Clinic is a place where I practice. We do concierge medicine. So concierge medicine was very focused to hotels, but there will be sometimes calls coming in. Look, my mom is in this old folks home, especially in the PJ area, so abundance of them. So can you go and visit them? Can you just do a check and everything? We'll pay. Okay, fine, we'll go. Because we have a designated team to every day there's one person on call. So go, and I go to this place and I see like, what on earth is going on? There are like 20 people stuck in
a hall space.
Real estate hall space, like just normal standard PJ one-story building. They're all just like bed everywhere, and you can feel like some people have infections, some people are this, and then they're all just, some are even tied up, and it's like that was a huge eye opener for me to see like actually what's going on in these facilities. And I said like y'all are licensed, got a nurse on here. Yeah, got one nurse will come once in a while if they need help. Then everything is, but because they try to keep the cost down.
Absolutely,
that's one thing. But at the moment, like, but you cannot keep humans to that standard of quality. That's another one more big thing. Yeah.
So again, there are facilities like that that operate in such a way. One is because their service price is a bit on the lower end, which not
they
many
fix the
people.
problem because there's a demand.
Correct. Not many people can afford even 3,000 ringgit a month, right? So there are homes, but generally right now, on an average, the senior living care has hiked up the price. the cheapest you can get. Those days you still can find it below 1,000 per month. Now you can't find any place below 1,000. Average on a proper facility in PJ is about 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit. So that's the price. Those currently in any nursing home or senior living home. And in terms of why most of the facilities aren't able to get licensed, it's not that purposely they do not want to be licensed. It's because of the extremely strict requirements that council is imposing. I think it has to come from top down, from the federal government itself, specifically with Jabatan Kebajikan, or even Ministry of Health, to look into the requirement and optimize it to allow facilities to be licensed. At least licensing is about following requirements, right? It's not just licensing for the sake of having license, right? So at least these homes can follow a set of requirements, which is the basic for a senior living facility. So we have a peace of mind that our fellow seniors who are in these particular facilities are treated well. But you will have some will not be able because of that conversion of your existing residential units, so PJ residential or limited commercial units. And do you know why most of the facilities are in PJ? Any idea why compared to any other places?
I'm gonna hold this answer, but I'm gonna listen to you first and then see whether my answer is right.
Okay, right.
If it's not, I'll add on one point.
Right. So the basic requirement for you to have a senior living home is rooms.
Okay.
Right. And what is best other than, the cheapest option is to get a house converted into a senior living facility. Houses can fall under two titles. One is residential, which is commonly we see, and one can be limited commercial. So limited commercials are residential units which are older but they have been converted, allows you to operate a particular business. So commonly you're not able to operate a business into a residential property.
Yeah.
So you can do an application
In
under
PJ.
No, this is
Everywhere.
across Malaysia, right? So residential title you can apply, but it falls under criteria in terms of zoning. Only one care center can allow in one cluster of residential unit. If there's one already, the other one is not allowed. So these are some of the requirements the councils put in imposed. Now PJ, especially like Jalan Gasing, Jalan Templar, all these units most of it been converted to limited commercial.
Okay.
Hence why you see drive on Jalan, you see dental practice, you see senior home. So it's easier to apply for licensing.
Okay.
But then again, as an operator, this is the first point that, okay, I make sure my title wise, I can operate a business. But then when you go do your application, they scrutinize you by extremely strict requirements. You're set back from the fencing and all these things. Then end up the whole process.
Who sets that?
The council.
The council, okay.
Ends up the whole process becomes costly. So when it's costly, when capex has been put into a particular business, what happens? The price point goes up, right?
Yes.
So that's why the chicken and egg story. So that's why it has to be from the government agencies that they have to have a little bit more leniency on the requirement to allow facilities to operate with come out with a affordable price tag. If they put requirements, you build one on a flat land, it costs you about 100 million. And that's where the scenario is going on in the market right now, where our fellow comrades, they have to. It's not that they want to charge expensive, they have to charge because they put in the money. They need to recover that. So for us, we were lucky enough to find a particular facility, and then we can convert it with being quite lean in our capex. So because the aim was to provide the affordable price tag. And then we go on a community base, 100, 150 rooms in each location. And then we want to expand as many places as we can to provide people from other parts of town to enjoy this lifestyle.
So when you mention about the capex, right? In order to maintain that price point, is to make sure the facility is has that max cap.
Yes.
Because the smaller the capacity, the higher the
yeah, correct. So the sweet spot is 100 to 150 rooms. Anything lower, you don't get the ROI that is required. Anything higher, it has a lot of more cost to get the occupancy filled up. Because in terms of caregiving, there's a ratio between resident to a caregiver. So that's where the algorithm doesn't really work. It has to go higher, 200 rooms. But then it's a lot more effort for us to fill up the occupancy. And I want to have that in many places as possible rather than just focusing on one particular location.
True. So my answer towards your question now is, why PJ? Straight to the point. we got to see population demographics. That's one thing. Being honest. By race, I'm not being bad here, but by race, the Chinese community has been more open about this for a long time. Indians are a bit resistant unless the scenario is like no choice. They really need like a person who's bedridden. They really need significant assistance for maybe a full-on assistance made. Then it comes in. But the biggest chunk of the population, which is the Malay community, are still infant to this. I want to say that it's still very new towards this thing and understanding this concept because we got to go back to looking at our country again. See, most people who came out from the other states to Kuala Lumpur, they came in maybe in the 70s, 80s. Probably had some university education, diploma, and now they come in to the city. And this category of people are now in the 60s and 70s. Okay. So this segment would be much more considerable to them. They lived in the city for so long and then like I don't want to go back. I don't have no one there maybe in Alostar or something. Yeah, I can go back there, but I'm going to be in a more silent position than I am in KL. If my kids are staying in Bandar Utama or another kid is staying in Cheras, they are still like half an hour away from me. If I want to drive to their house once in a while, I still can go. Sure. So I can just grab and go. So those convenience come in. But I see that's why PJ is that. One more thing is, PJ is more strategically located with all the highways and everything. And whatever you need, it's found there. Because KL, maybe the price point is going to be very high, is higher. And then the hustle and bustle is, it's
absolutely, yeah.
It's
So
more
you're spot on. PJ is, if you look at the Klang Valley demographic, it is right smack in the center. So accessibility, and it's not very busy like Golden Triangle, KLCC, Jalampang or something like that. You've touched a very important point in terms of acceptance between the racial communities. Yes, predominantly. Currently is still the Chinese community. The Indian community is trying to get into this. And one of the reasons is because of the affordability as well. People are looking for quality living spaces for their loved ones. So the big ones are around current now, but not everybody can afford it. Generally, Asians per se, not just Malaysians. So we've got projects coming up in Indonesia and Vietnam as we speak. Next year, by Q2, we're going to start. Yeah, Ho Chi Minh and Bintan.
Already located.
Yes, we've already located. We've already signed off. We're working on it. So Ho Chi Minh, this upcoming, and Bintan Islands in Indonesia.
Okay.
Right. So when we did a market,
that's close to Singapore, right?
Yes. So target market is Singaporeans. So that one is going to be ultra luxe. So every facilities that we expand, depending on the location and the need, comes on a different model. So there will be some ultra luxe. There will be some. Most of it will be for M40 and T20 group. We are also working with a party to create a more affordable living solution for the B40 groups specifically. So that's upcoming as well.
Locally or
in Malaysia?
Okay.
In Malaysia. So having said that, Asians generally are still very close to their family. We will still like to care for our loved one as much as we can. But moving forward, things are slowly shaping, and that's why we are creating the awareness where the seniors themselves readily want to move when they come to the age of 65, 70. Okay, I go live somewhere. I'll come and visit you guys on the weekend, and then Monday to Friday I go back to the facility because I've got my friends, I've got my activities, my day-to-day needs is taken care of. So this is where things are slowly shifting. And specifically for the Malay or Muslim community here in Malaysia, they're still a bit uncertain whether these facilities are halal certified or halal friendly.
But that all those things can be worked out.
Can be worked out, but again, they also see that the mixture of community is not still well balanced. So that's why they like to keep their loved ones as much as close to their family as they can. But it's slowly shifting over that side. The ones that are a bit more open, that they've traveled in Western Hemisphere, they've seen how a lifestyle for seniors is really taken care of. And most cases, because only now we see nice premium facilities coming out. All this while we're just old folks home, jammed up, as you mentioned, your personal experience. Everybody is jammed up and sandwiched inside there, and somebody wants to come there. They want to see if they even assisted living kind of resident. When they go and see a home where it's completely bedridden, they feel depressed. They don't have the demarcation because it's limited by the size of the facility. So now it's slowly opening up.
I still see like for the Malay community coming in, there's also like the easy entry. For example, when you say like when the families go out for vacation, or let's just say like 4 of them go for Umrah, and then they left both parents back home because they have done it, and they say no, we don't want to travel, we got knee pain and stuff like that. So where do we leave them?
Exactly.
So at least there are this kind of facilities that are available. I know there's a cat hotel, dog hotel, and everything, but where do seniors get protection and they know that, okay, the foods are checked, you can provide halal food for them. They really need to, whether they have people to care give them just to facilitate, and then also track, like they can actually contact and see, okay, how the parents are doing, okay, everything is fine. So there's also a lot of these things that I feel there's a lot of room for that discussion, because there will be a situation where in the next 5-10 years to come, there won't be any kampung for some people. The kampung is where KL. Where's my kampung? PJ. Where's my kampung? Wan Utama. Like that. That will happen.
Sure.
Because that will happen. So when that happens, where do these people go at one point? So that question, it will be answered whether through organic growth or by understanding that this thing is already coming towards not just like one community, but I think towards all communities in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And also one more thing, we talked about our people. How about foreigners?
Yes, we are open for foreigners as well. So just to add on of what you mentioned, our facilities would be very much inclined to our Malaysian culture. It's not going to be inclined to any specific religion. However, residents, they have their freedom to express their own religion or practice their own religion at their rooms or the confined spaces. We will have suraus in our facilities as well for the Muslim residents. In other religious residents, we can even organize religious trips if they want to visit to a temple or anything like that. We do not stop anyone, but bottom line is, one Malaysia, we build a facility based on Malaysian culture.
Nice. I think one of the last questions I want to ask. You focus a lot on the M40, the T20, 60% up market. The crisis will also see in that B40. What can we do for this community? I'm pretty sure you have thought about it. What can we do? Because if the agencies are not coming, the government is not looking at that. We're not Australia, Canada, I think where these things are already much more for matured nations there. They've seen this problem coming. We are still at 67 years old country. So now we're gauging in terms of number. What can be done? Is there anything that can be taught now itself? So
it has to have a lot of support from the government bodies in terms of providing very affordable care for the B40 group, right? So as I mentioned earlier, we are working with Gerontological Association Malaysia. In fact, we've already signed an MOU with them, where we're going to identify condo apartment units, so there are all the older ones where got a lot of units which are available. So we're going to adopt the Singapore model, where we're going to put in the seniors into those homes, where we have a cluster and we provide the basic care as required. So it's also a multi-generational angle, at the same time providing affordability. We are looking even to charge as low as 1,500 ringgit per person, all in, all care. But there are a lot of NGOs, they are taking the leap, doing it, but there's not enough.
The NGOs, funds are not enough.
Not only funds, the funds is not enough, that's one. Number two is there aren't enough NGOs to do it. Looking at the population of incremental percentage that we are going up, it's uptrend. It's not going to go trend. So the government has to have a little bit more initiative in terms of support of grants. There are a lot of private practices, private companies who want to do it, but it's hard to be in existence if you're a for-profit organization. If you're a non-profit organization, it's fine. If it's a for-profit, you need to know your top line, bottom line for you to survive, in order for you to provide that services, right? So if government can step in and even the little bit of things of even easing off on the taxation, it will really help for the private entities to come out and build more solution
Facilities.
for the B40. In fact, we would really love to do it because we don't want to neglect anyone,
Because it will be a problem.
and we don't want to neglect any seniors to live a good life, right? And especially when care is required. But to provide that charging point and especially to operate in an urban location, it's a bit tough.
So after PJ, where will be the next?
The next one we've already identified in Penang. We're just finalizing the negotiation before we take over the site.
So it will be all sort of like the same concepts.
So our business model is converting existing facilities, right? So the requirements is very simple. Is the same: 100 to 150 rooms, standalone properties. We don't do shop lot, so commercial lots or whatever it is. We don't go into residential units as well. But in terms of finding the asset, there might be some changes in the look or feel of it, but in terms of services, in terms of our ambience, we'll still maintain the same. Our SOPs and KPI maintains the same. So we're building a household brand, Sukha, to be the number one senior living facility or service senior living operator in Southeast Asia. So that's where we are going. So if even our Indonesian side or Vietnam side, when they go, will still have the same cultural values of how the Sukha brand is. But because we are taking over an existing asset, there might be some limitations. Maybe some of the asset might not have a swimming
And
pool.
also regulations are even
Regulation, might have not a swimming pool, but the basic ones will still be there. So we are very actively looking for
funding.
assets.
Okay.
Funding, yes, we are raising funds on equity crowdfunding pitching at this point of time.
How is it at the moment?
We are at the tail end. We are closing out the campaign quite soon for us to start moving into our new facility. But as we expand, we are also out there looking for assets. So a lot of these older hotels, we call it the distress assets. Post-COVID, they didn't continue.
They didn't get the vaccine, this one. Hotels are not given the vaccine.
No, they decide to cease businesses. So these buildings are out there, and we are looking to explore and see as many assets
help
as
them.
we can convert that to provide this solution.
So at this moment, are you all offering investors? You're looking for investors, or you're looking for people who have even like any hybrid package? They want to invest, they want to come into the facility. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, so we have two packages. One is coming in as an ordinary share member. We have dividends, even of ROI up to 20% a year. That's what we are promising. Commonly, companies at our stage will not promise, but I myself am an investor in this company. So I also would like to, look at, likewise, all the other investors, look at the welfare of an investor to come in. So we are looking to pay dividends as high as 20%. And we've got a plan to go public list in another 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
So that's the long-term plan. Apart from that, we also have a package where you pay an X amount of sum, we guarantee you a 10 years free stay. So there's also that kind of packages. So,
And how much would that sum be? I'm so curious already.
right. So
We might end up in on this center soon.
Sure. So looking at the price point of what we are charging, 3,500 ringgit, if you do a 10-year stay, the cost would comes up to about 420,000 for 10 years, 3,500. And this is not taking in consideration of any inflation rate of incremental price point or whatever it is. This package we're offering at 264,000, which gives you a space for 10 years. All in. Meals, housekeeping, laundry.
So they get to be an investor.
Investor / you get a place for you for 10 years.
Okay. So what after 10 years?
After 10 years, there is a scheme where you can renew it or you start continue paying it on a lease month-to-month basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
Because
good.
we look at it as the average span of a senior who checks in, lives there about 10 years.
Understand. Okay. Wow, it's a good conversation from Mr. Raaj from Sukha Golden. Thank you so much for coming to Lesung Batu Medic Show. I think a lot of our viewers learned something more today about senior living, and it's something that we cannot neglect, whether we are young or we are at that age or maybe considering to go to a senior center. So thank you again for being here. So terima kasih everyone kerana menonton Lesung Batu Medic Show kali ni. Semoga episod kali ni membawa banyak manfaat. Jangan lupa like, subscribe kepada page kami di YouTube, TikTok dan juga Instagram, sehingga kita bertemu di episod yang akan datang. Kita lesung kau. Okay, episod kali ni dibawakan khas oleh Healthy Nation. Healthy Nation merupakan nutrisi suplemen makanan untuk tambahkan kalori sekiranya anda mempunyai masalah selepas pembedahan, orang-orang yang tua yang mungkin kurang kalori defisit. Ini adalah satu alternatif. Terdapat berbagai jenis. Yang saya nak share ni ialah DM Well. DM Well ni dia lactose free, low glycemic index, high calcium dan fiber. Dia ada 28 mineral dan juga multivitamin. Dia ada 4 strain probiotik dan juga vitamin B1, B6, B12 dan chromium. Sangat sesuai orang yang ada masalah kencing manis yang tengah fikirkan apa makanan suplemen yang boleh gunakan untuk tambahkan dia kalori. Okay, so it's available di kebanyakan farmasi di Malaysia. So go check it out. Healthy Nation, DM Well.